professional serving community. talkradio.nyc.
Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Marsanico, and this is the A Train to Sedona. It's Wednesday, November 6, 2024. The A Train to Sedona is also the name of a book I wrote, a memoir about my journey to love and compassion. I share my failures and my successes on the journey. I wrote the book so that my experiences, my journey, could make your journey easier. You can purchase a signed copy of the A Train to Sedona on my website at lindamarsanico.com on the Buy the Book page. Also at retail outlets and bookstores. I also have a free gift for you, Higher Vibration Cheat Sheet, with 7 tips on how to raise your vibration. An example is tip number 3, a 2 to 3 minute meditation to help you relax your mind and access deeper states of awareness. Also, there are 7 exercises to guide you. You can download this free gift at lindamarsanico.com. In New York City, the A train is an express train, so hop on board. I have 2 disclaimers. The broadcast does not establish a professional relationship, and the opinions expressed on this broadcast are not representative of Talk Radio New York City. Today, I have a guest, Sara from England. Sara is the master of voice and sound energy, creator of Vocal Reiki, a Reiki Master, a teacher, and practitioner. Uniquely using the sound of toning, Sara supports people to connect with their inner child, healing the hurts and traumas of the past. She is also the founder of Gift of Healing TV, which had its 10th birthday this September. She's an international speaker and author. Sara is a featured author in the recently released book, Gifts of Wisdom, in which she and all the authors tell their story and share wisdom gained from their experience to support the reader on their own life journey. Welcome to the show, Sara.
Thank you, Linda. It's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting me to participate.
I've been looking forward to our conversation. And I wonder, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, so have I. It's always great having a chat with you.
Yes, we've done this before on your station.
We have.
So I wonder if you would say something about your story and the way it brings you forward to where you are today and where you're going.
My story starts when I was very young. I was just under a year old when I actually got scalded by a boiling milk coffee that went all over my face, down my neck, and the jumper that I was wearing stuck to my skin. It was an accident, but it meant I was actually in hospital for 3 months because I wouldn't leave the wounds alone. Now, that was back in 1959. That was at a time when parents weren't allowed to stay with their children. In fact, the rules of the hospital were they could visit for an hour once every other day. The reality for myself, due to the distance from the hospital, mother not driving, was that I saw them once a week for an hour. The system is very aware now of the emotional damage, trauma that causes to children, which is why parents are very much encouraged to stay. But that wasn't the case, obviously, for myself. I also came home to unfamiliar surroundings, as my parents had actually moved in that period of time. And my mother was heavily pregnant with my sister Gillian. Gillian, very sadly, only lived for 9 weeks. So, and she was actually classed as a cot death, although an autopsy revealed that it was something the hospital had missed. And so by the time I was 18 months old, I felt rejected by my parents and by a sibling. Circumstances. It was all circumstances. But you can't explain that to an 18-month-old baby. In fact, at what stage can you explain it? And by then that damage is done and it's all internalized. My wake-up call came not long before I was 40, and it came in the form, that turned me into a people pleaser. I was not a happy person, period. You know, I showed that persona of being happy and confident, but I really wasn't. The wake-up call came in the form of a broken jaw. The dentist broke my jaw extracting a wisdom tooth. I didn't even know it was broken for a week. The result was actually 6 months of pain and sleepless nights.
Oh, that's dreadful.
Yes, but people pleasing is exhausting. Gratefully, I never actually had children. I think that was part of all that rejection. I was already on my second marriage. Again, that's all part of the not expecting anything to last in my life. But that 6 months left me so exhausted. I hadn't got the energy to work full time, run a home. I was studying an accountancy exam at the same time, and I was being a people pleaser. So it got to the stage where things had to start giving. The study went first, although I actually changed that from accountancy to learning about homeopathy, which was really interesting. I'm not a homeopath, but it was an interest, and that was really interesting and very supportive, actually. Then it got to the stage where the people pleasing started to go, and then the marriage went. Then I got told the company's been taken over, and you're all going to get made redundant. It was just, but seriously, by then I got to the stage where I realized this was me being given the opportunity to take back my life, to start living my life. So I didn't actually see any of it. I feel like I was very blessed because I didn't go into that panic of everything falling to pieces. I somehow knew that everything was going to be okay. So, and one of the things was sort of learning Reiki how can I help me? Everything about what I was doing is, how can I help me, support me? And I went to an event, and the first person I saw inside that door was sharing about a technique called metamorphic technique. An angel day, I got talking to her, and she talked about Reiki. I'm the first person you treat. When you learn, your level 1 is yourself. I'd actually put that out to the universe without even realizing I'd done it. And it's just accepting now, all these years later, that the universe supports us, but we have to support ourselves as well.
We have to do the work.
Yeah, Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a spiritual person? And if you do, can you say something about how you see that surrounding you and within you?
I was raised a Catholic for many years. And I went through phases of going to church and not going to church. I very much believe in our Creator, as I prefer to refer to. I believe in Mother Mary, in Jesus, in the angels, but I believe in so much more, because I also believe I am a channel. I speak light language, and I have no idea what I'm saying when I speak it. I share messages from many mythical beings, including dragons.
Mhm.
And so I feel I have an amazing connection with my guides, my guardians. My sister, the sister that died, Gillian, is
Yes.
one of my spirit guides. I have a spirit guide from the Pleiades. It's that being open to we are so much more than we are told we are.
Mhm.
And I have been very blessed that things have come my way that I've agreed to participate in.
Mhm.
Even if I've wondered, what the heck are you doing, Sarah? You don't see anything, you don't hear anything, you just get a sense of knowing, and you very much believe. And yet they've been totally the right thing to move me along my journey. So absolutely, I am a great believer in the universe, in source, in creator, and the support that we are brought by the angelic realms and so much more.
Mm. How beautiful. I don't know much about toning. I wonder if you can say something about it.
Okay, that's something else that I channel.
You channel the toning.
Oh, I do, absolutely. Very much so. I was introduced to toning, which is literally just opening your mouth and allowing a sound. And I will absolutely demonstrate it. That'll make it so much easier. But
Mhm.
I was introduced to that by the lady that taught me Reiki, a lady called Elaine Miller. And she did a little workshop. I went along to it, and it was Tibetan singing bowls and various other things. And then she started with the toning, and I fell in love with it. And I'm not a singer. The tones have been likened to Tibetan singing bowls. People, when I say to people, I suggest you close your eyes, because I'm going to. When I work with it, I always close my eyes.
Yes.
And people have said, I've had to open my eyes because I couldn't believe that sound was coming out of you. You got a cassette recorder or something, because we're going back a few years now, because I've been doing it a while. You'd got something there and you were playing something. So it's just a matter of it's the use of the voice.
Yes. How long? We have a break in about a minute, and when we
Yeah.
come back, I'd love you to demonstrate the
Yes.
toning. But how long have you been actually channeling the toning?
I think from the word go once I learnt about it. So that's now over 20 years. I just didn't understand initially that I was actually channeling it. People started hearing about me doing it, and it was just, oh, Sarah, will you do some? And then somebody that I know, and it was part of another little course that I was, workshop I was on. And she said, yes, but Sarah's channeling that. And I thought, of course I am.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Sarah is going to demonstrate her channeling of toning.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
If you don't have your health, what do you really have? It's time to feel good in your body and shift from struggle to ease. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul, where we explore the sacred wisdom of your body while you sit back, relax, and go on a journey of self-discovery. Join me every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to awaken your heart, transform your well-being, and unlock a deeper understanding of yourself.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Hello. Welcome back to the A Train to Sedona. I'm Linda Marsanico with my guest, Sara, who is going to give us a demonstration of her channeling toning.
My suggestion is that you relax, feet on the floor if you can, and invite your roots, the roots in the base of your feet, for those that believe it comes from the base of your spine, whichever works best for you. Invite them down into Mother Earth, deep into Mother Earth, anchoring into Mother Earth. Mother Earth is sending up her love and her protection through your roots, into your feet, up into your legs, up into your whole body, and totally surrounding and protecting you. This isn't about what you hear, it is about what you feel.
Sara, thank you so much. I feel energy, especially in my two hands. both left and right, but in my entire body. I still feel it. I'm sort of getting goosebumps, and I'm feeling, woo! I'm really, I'm left-handed, although a professional spinal release person tells me that my more dominant part is my right hand. I can't relate to that. So I'm feeling a lot here. I trust that our listeners will benefit and perhaps write us about their experience. So I wonder, what is the difference between toning and vocal Reiki?
Toning is an aspect of vocal Reiki. It's one of the things that I actually use within a session. But the most powerful aspect within vocal Reiki is actually toning the individual's name. And it's the name their mother called them as a child. When I go out and give talks, one of the things that I will do is, depending on how many, if I've got a really big room, then I'll probably sort of invite 2 or 3 people to say they'd like me to do that for them. If I've got a really small group, then I'll probably do just a very quick taster for each and every one of them. And not so long ago, I did a talk, and one of the ladies said to me, as I sort of went round, and she said, I was adopted. So, but I do know the name my birth mother gave me. So I started with the name that her adoptive mother, because that's the name she's been called for so many years. But I said, I will finish just with a little bit of what your birth mother called you. The floodgates opened when I did the name her birth mother had called her. Mm-hmm. It was that connection. The sense I get is the name our birth mother calls us is the name we have chosen. And my understanding of that comes from the fact that I was christened Sara Jane, no hyphen.
Yeah.
But actually, as a baby, I was Jane. And one of the biggest light bulb moments for me was that when I changed my name from Jane to Sarah, and I was only a child when I did it, I was the only person who rejected me when I changed my name. That is why I always ask people to work with the name their mother called them as a child. Occasionally, it is actually the father that's come up with their name for whatever reason, but it's usually the mother. And when toning the name and working with that can help people to reconnect with their younger self. Oh. And I've had people who have changed their name and who have come up to me sort of later and said, I'm changing back. Now, the reason I tend to refer to myself as Sara Jane, and people call me Sarah, and that's fine, because it was so important to honor the whole of me, the younger me and the me of today. To go back to Jane would have been to reject all those years, and there were a lot of them, as Sarah. It's really important, as far as I'm aware, to honor the whole of ourselves, everything that every aspect of us has been through. And so it's totally up to you, and I appreciate that you're the one here, so you can get to experience it. But if you would like, I can do a quick demonstration of toning of someone's name and it be yours.
Okay, let's do it.
Were you called Linda by your mother as a child?
Well, she loved the name.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so roots are already down. Okay. You've still got that love and protection from Gaia. And again, it is not about what you hear, it is about what you feel. Linda, 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 Linda.
Well, I feel loved. I felt a lot of love. And I had the sense that my mother, who's deceased, I had the sense that she came in. And the feeling was a very wonderful feeling. And your voice sounded angelic. Are you channeling that from the angels?
It might be that it was from your mother. It might be that it was from the angels. I don't question who it's from. I just accept.
I have to say that I think it's from both. And it was a lovely experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I have found when I do that for people as a sort of short taster is when I do that, it's about honoring the whole of you. And it is about love. It is all about love and helping people to feel a love that they may not have felt for a long time.
I feel it flowing still.
Yeah.
It's coming perhaps in waves. It's just coming. It's coming to me like frontally, like that. Don't stop. Keep it coming. Don't stop till you get enough.
Yes, absolutely.
So I also wonder what helped, or what was the process of your discovering or creating vocal Reiki?
I loved working with the toning, and I very much started on a physical level, so muscular, skeletal, and the most amazing experience was in an event, sort of just doing a little taster, and this gentleman had been involved in a road accident that week. And it's not really about the touch. I don't work touch now, but the touch is absolutely the absolute gentlest of touch when I was working initially, because I'd started using it with a technique called quantum touch. And I'd learnt that. And when we were learning that, we were told, you can use the sound with it. The lady who taught myself and Eileen, my Reiki master, she knew our love of the toning of the sound. So I'm not convinced I ever did quantum touch. I think I was doing this all the way along, but it was that gentle touch. And I put my hands on his back, and certainly nothing that could have manipulated anything.
Right.
But this is how I know what happened. And as I was toning to his back, suddenly everything moved. Everything went back into place. He came back and saw me later, and he said, I feel better than I did before the accident.
What injuries did he have?
It was just sort of, he had got the whiplash and there was nothing anybody could do about it. The hospital basically told him, sort of, no
And
can
when you were toning his back, were you vocalizing the toning?
Yeah.
Sound is a very powerful healer.
It is a very powerful healer. Yeah.
Do you do a lot of that in your sessions?
Oh, yes.
The toning and the vocal Reiki?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. But also there's aspect of talking and asking how people have felt and asking them to sort of to share what they're getting so that we can take it from there. It's not a fixed how it's done. It's very much guided actually by the experience that the client has.
So it's interactive.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that breath at the end, I get the sense is a dragon breath that is there to help cleanse any negative energy that is ready to leave. It cannot take away anything that isn't ready to leave, but it takes away the energy that is negative energy that is ready to leave, and it cleanses it. So it's not going out to potentially hurt others.
Now, we need to take a break. When we come back, I really want to understand more about dragon breath. And so we are ready for a commercial.
Are you
Take it
a
away.
high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Broncu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Linda Marsanico on the A train to Sedona with my guest, Sara. And Sara, I'm thinking that my listeners really want to hear about dragon breath.
I found that I was working with the dragons that guard over the Earth's crystals. So I work with the dragons that guard over the crystals. I channel a message from them every month. But when I first connected with the mythical realm, the dragons actually said, you all have your own guardian dragon. You are your dragon's treasure. We have guardian dragons. We can connect with dragons. And I don't just work with the dragons when it comes to vocal Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
I work with Gaia, Pachamama, Mother Earth.
Yes.
I work with Mother Mary, with Saint Germain of the Violet Flame, and with Archangel Uriel, the angel of peace and wisdom. The dragons then come in there with this dragon breath. And it is just about, for me, as I said before the break, it is really just a breath that is there to sort of cleanse and to blow away the negative energies. And I just found myself doing that naturally. I had no idea while I was doing it initially.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much about, okay, just trusting this. I was doing it. And it was only later that I came to realize that it was the dragons. It doesn't have to have flame. And maybe it does have flame. You know, for some, maybe it is important that there is a flame within that. But it's a dragon breath that is literally about the cleansing of negative energies that are ready to be let go.
It's so important to transmute that energy into
Yes.
the light or with the dragon breath so that it doesn't float and affect anyone negatively.
And when we sort of think, okay, right, sort of, I've got to let that go. One of the things I've heard people say is, release it to the light with love.
Mhm.
Don't just let it go.
Right.
Let it go in a way that you actually do, you say, transmute that energy
Yes.
from something negative. You actually negate the negativity.
Yes, sometimes I'll also send it to either Jesus or Kali. I think that Kali is a Hindu deity or
Yeah.
spirit. And so they take negativity. If I'm feeling, oh, I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling something that I don't want to be feeling, take it from me, just take it. And I send it to them. And it feels refreshing.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. The more we can let these things go rather than holding on to them and bottling them, it's really important.
Yes, it allows us to be in the moment. It allows us to know what silence is, because in silence, we're able to communicate with Creator and other beings. So letting go of what doesn't serve us takes away the distractions. So there's always so much to let go of as we move around in this challenging earth.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, well, yeah, sort of the distractions for me, I've got rid of reading newspapers and listening to news because they are a massive distraction, and that, to me, most of the time, a negative distraction. So, what can we do to actually support ourselves? What actions can we take to clear negative energies that are bombarding us sort of on a daily basis?
Yes. It's important for us to support our integrity spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally. And we all have hopefully different ways of dealing with that, because it's really essential in 2024.
Not far off 25.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you about Gift of Healing TV. How did you come to start this huge endeavor?
For a number of years, I'd been doing a monthly newsletter out to people locally with, sort of said, let me know of any events and fairs and courses, etc. And I think I'd got, just from locally, sort of about 400 odd people on this mailing list. But I don't know, I got to the stage where I felt that it really wasn't doing what I would hope it would do. And I felt there were things I wasn't being told about, which I could have shared out to 400 odd people, sort of in the local area, sort of supporting people. I wasn't charging for it. I was just doing it. And in the February or March of 2012, I was a messenger speaker at the Messenger Summit in San Diego. And again, near Yosemite at the end of the year, I did that again. But I met Neil Donald Walsh at the first one, and he'd sort of asked a question. It was after the event, and I met him in the lobby of the hotel, and he said, sort of, and I can't remember the question he asked, but I said, it's how can I take what I've experienced here and bring that out? Now, it took probably another 18 months before I knocked that newsletter on the head and stopped that. And I think I stopped it in the June or the July. And then it was just like, this popped into my head. I was given the facilities to be able to do it. And I didn't start with a website in place. I'm going to do this. And I got going with it. I'd met so many people who developed their own techniques. And I put myself out there on LinkedIn mainly, connecting with people. And David McLeod I'd met at the Messenger Summits. And he'd started Life Mastery TV, and he'd invited me to be a guest on that. And it was just like, okay, so I went, if I start Gift of Healing TV, and he'd say, go ahead. It's sort of, and that's how it came about. And it wasn't just a matter of, oh, I've got to have a website in place, I've got to have this in place, I've got to have that in place. I just went bang and did it. And sort of, and it's continued to grow. Every interview I've ever done on there is still on the website as a recording. People can go and find out about different techniques. There are meditations, exercises, conversations. And I share stuff that I affiliate with, so the everything health and wellness wise. But everything is free to watch initially. And all my videos that I've put up there with my guests, they're free anyway. There's no charges for those.
And what would you say your goal is?
To touch as many lives as possible. If you don't put the information out there, how are people going to find it?
That's very beautiful, Sara. You shine the light in so many areas.
I try.
Well, I think you do. You know what Buddha says about trying? Don't attempt, just do. And for years, I didn't understand, and I wrote this in The A Train to Sedona. I didn't understand the difference in the energy, because when I'm trying to do something, it's meandering. But when I do it, it's like a laser. And you've done a laser.
Yes, absolutely.
And when you learned how to do the website, you probably did your own website.
Yes, I absolutely. I had a little bit of help from my youngest sister, and she sort of, who's very tech minded. So she supported me, but actually I've got 3 websites and I do all the work on all of them now. Yeah.
Just checking with my timing. Let me just see something for the commercial. I think we are close to a break. I think we're close. But so your sister helped you, and is she very tech savvy?
She is tech savvy. She's a grandma in tech. That's what she refers to herself as. And she's always been a great support in that respect. But I try not to go to her more than I have to, because of a project that is her baby. And she's very much, again, about helping people and supporting people. In fact, I think she's in London today at the House of Lords. My sister has seriously sort of, she's put herself out there because she wishes to support others. I put myself out there, and we do it in our own unique way, and in different areas.
And is she in your town, or is she close to you?
No,
Proximity?
I live in Bournemouth. My sister lives down in a place called Dawlish down in Devon, which isn't too far from my mother, which is in Torquay. And I've got another sister who lives here in Bournemouth. So we're not too far apart. But sort of but on the whole, we're a pretty close family. Sort of we connect with each other sort of pretty regularly.
I'm just remembering that you said you met Neil Donald Walsh. I have read almost all of his books. There are more than 5, 6, 7. I have them on my shelf. They were so transformative for me. And at times I would read the book and say, oh my goodness, I can't believe that. I have to put it down. I have to digest that. Like, could that be so? And then I would take it in and make it my own. And most of it resonated with me. But I would be reading, and I actually tried to give books to people. I would get them and give them out, and it was just so extraordinary. And they were beautifully put together with cloth that was divinely inspired.
A friend gave me book 1 of Conversations with God, and he actually said, and don't take this too seriously.
Oh, well, I took it very, very seriously.
100%. I was reading it, and every now and again something would catch me right in the core of my being.
Yeah.
And I am aware of a life I lived 2,000 years ago. And I was there, and it's just like, absolutely. And And actually, it was reading Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code,
Mm-hmm.
and when he talked about Mary Magdalene being married to Jesus.
Yes.
And that hit me right in my core. And I thought, yeah, you know that, Sarah, because you were there at the time.
And I want to come back, hold that thought, and we'll talk a bit about that, about Mary Magdalene and Jesus. We need to take a break, so take it away.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Hi, I'm Linda Marsanico. The A Train to Sedona is a memoir about my journey to love and compassion. It's also the name of my new broadcast on Wednesdays at 12 noon. When we are spiritual, we embrace possibilities and ideas, which strengthen our mind, body, spirit, health, and wisdom. On the A Train to Sedona broadcast, I plan to interview guests who embrace these expansive practices. Join us on Wednesdays at 12 noon on Talk Radio New York City.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Hello, welcome back to the A Train to Sedona. I'm Linda Marsanico with my guest, Sarah. So, Sarah, we were talking about a very provocative topic.
Yes, to some, absolutely.
So you were there at the time of Christ.
Yes, I believe I was. I was his sister. And in the last few years, I've also met somebody else that was his sister, and therefore my sister.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe she lives here in Bournemouth anymore, but she did live in Bournemouth at a stage. And also met the individual whose soul was Doubting Thomas.
Oh.
So, there's a part of me that genuinely believes that all of these souls have reincarnated at this time because this is such a special time and such an important time for humanity.
It is, yes. Yes. And that we all chose to come in.
Yeah.
And I understand that a lot of people wanted to come in, but because we could fulfill our purpose, we've had many lives, that we would be trusted to fulfill this. So that's why we're here.
And I think that's the important thing, is we have chosen to be here. We haven't sort of been told we had to be here. And I see what happened to me as a baby as being a gift that I gave myself, so that I can do what I'm here to do, support the people I'm here to support, touch the lives I'm meant to touch, in the ways that, whichever ways that it turns out to be. Gift of Healing TV here, sort of talks, sort of in person, sort of, I love it all, and books.
And speaking of books, tell the listeners, tell us all about Gifts of Wisdom.
Gifts of Wisdom. I actually have my own copy. David MacLeod, as I said before, is somebody that I've known for a number of years and been guests on each other's programs. And he approached about this. And actually, his initial title for the book was Elder Wisdom. And I thought, actually, I'm old enough to retire this year. I can class myself as an elder. So I thought, yes, knowing my story, knowing the gifts it has given me. And I felt it was really important to be part of that. And some of the other authors I already know. And then I got to know all the others as well, which was really amazing. And they're doing a summit as well, which is actually sort of coming out this weekend. And it is all about the wisdom that we have learned and we are sharing. And not everybody's old enough to be retired like me. Some of them are younger, but an awful lot of us are of that older age group, wishing to share our wisdom.
David was my guest last week. And for our listeners, I met you through David.
Yeah.
And so we've been on each other's shows, and I was very happy. I am very happy to return the favor to have you with me. And I said that to David as well. You've both hosted me twice, and you're just going to have to come back.
And we'll have to have you again.
And in the Gifts of Wisdom, how many authors are there?
22.
A nice number, 22.
In the book. Yeah, absolutely. And no, it is even being part of it has been a real gift in itself. I think we can all learn from the experiences that we have, and it's up to us to allow ourselves to do that. And that's really important. Every experience we have has got a gift in it.
Yes, yes. It needs to be sort of shifted so that we can see it. People talk about getting ill and it shifting their entire perspective on life. Whatever the supposed challenge is, it becomes a gift because we learn to creatively work through it, and we get to another place.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sort of my whole world could have been falling apart around me. I don't know why my thought process was, great, this means I'm getting made redundant. I don't like the job anyway, sort of all these sort of types of things. I felt really positive. But I've had things happen in my life I haven't felt so positive about, and myself and technology don't always see eye to eye.
Ditto for me.
And I think that's the joy of it. I can be very patient at times with it, and I can get very impatient at times with it, and I admit that. So just because I seem to be very relaxed with things at times, there are times when I'm a human being. I am having a human experience, and I am here to have that, and I am allowed to feel that frustration. Just don't hold on to it. That's the important thing.
Yes,
don't hold on to it.
Talking about technology, at one point I had an assistant who was a tech person, and he went on an interview and they asked him, "What do you do when the computer just doesn't respond?" He said, "I go to the bathroom, wash my face, take a break, and come back." And then I have a cousin who is very tech oriented, and he got a new phone, and he said to me, "I was so anxious," and I was surprised that he felt so anxious about all what you have to do to get the phone working and all the information uploaded onto it. And I felt, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone in this. Even the tech people have their frustrations and their challenges.
Oh, absolutely. But when I was doing all the channeling of the mythical beings, one of them is the gremlins. And they are meant to be really great at sort of stopping technology and stopping you from doing things and all the rest of it. And I was trying to print a leaflet off, and I wanted to print about 50 of these off, and it would not print. It just wouldn't print. It didn't matter what I did. And then I had a look at it on the screen, and I realized there was quite a nasty typo. I put it right and it printed. So we've got to accept the fact that sometimes, so gremlins can actually be our friends. It may feel frustrating at the time, but there's usually a reason for it.
Well, that's a happy ending. A new ending.
Exactly. Yeah, it's being open.
Yes. That's how I define creativity, having an open mind to novel ideas. Because there's a lot that can come in. A lot changes. Energy shifts all the time.
Yeah. Chuck away the box because it doesn't actually exist anyway.
I think of thinking out of the sphere. I love the sphere and thinking out of it. So I've upgraded the box. Now, we have a minute before we end, and I want to say how much I've enjoyed our conversation. And I wanted to say that next week I have Sam Leibowitz as my guest. He's the founder and CEO of Talk Radio New York City. Sarah, is there anything that you'd like to say to our listeners before we say goodbye?
Thank you to you. Thank you to them. And it is so important that we are the love of our own life. It is important we take care of ourselves. When we do that, we will be there for others.
I do believe that compassion needs to be felt for self first. And when we have it, we're not in a deficit to giving it out. Because if I'm giving it out and I don't have it, I'm working at a deficit. And that wouldn't be taking good care of myself. And there is that spiritual truth that we need to have compassion for ourselves first. So we're on solid ground, I think, with that. Well, parting is such sweet sorrow. Yet, I'm sure, be in touch with you soon. And we'll hang out a little bit after the show takes it away.
Thank you, Linda. It's been a real pleasure.
You are so welcome. We are ready to go.